All right, hi everybody. Hey, Mike Marlowe with Lighten Up Podcast. I got a special guest today, Sarah Van Meer. I say that right. I probably didn't. I apologize if I didn't. But she is a person that came out and I talked to here about a couple weeks ago, and I was just pretty amazed on her story as well as what she has done. That's the reason why I brought her on. And she's with Holiday Home Concepts, that's a designer software. But welcome, Sarah. I appreciate the time. I know it's your busy time this time of the year too. So, question for you, Sarah. When we talked, you told me that you've been decorating as a decorator for a while. How long? How did you guys get started? Tell me a little bit of your story.
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you for having me on. I'm honored to be talking to the great Mike Marlowe.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that.
And as far as how long I've been in the Christmas installation business, this will be our 8th season coming up. And so we've been doing this for many years. Traditionally in our company, I was always the person doing all the estimates, which was exhausting. And I was using Photoshop and I was trying to, use all these different programs just to create one estimate. And I knew renderings were important because a lot of our clients were these very high-end clients. They were getting estimates from other companies, and I knew we needed to be competitive. But at the same time, when you have 20-something estimates coming in a day, there's only so much you have time for. And I kept telling my partner, when we get this figured out, or whoever gets it figured out, it's going to be so great. There just needs to be something out there that makes rendering easy, estimation a little bit easier. I was the bottleneck in my own company, which was frustrating. So, the amount of time it was taking to get things out to customers was too long. And if a customer has to wait any length of time, a lot of times they'll just leave and go on to the next place. And so finally, we got the opportunity to work with a team out of Australia to create a software that would do exactly what we were hoping to. And so now it takes me 6 minutes to do an estimate instead of, half an hour to do all these great, crazy things on Photoshop.
Now, do you do, it sounds courageous on your end, to be, because as I know, working with a lot of different companies, when everybody I haven't seen it much in any other industry except Christmas. It seems like everybody is more of an entrepreneur. They think outside the box, like what you're doing. It's like, you know what, someone's not going to do it. I'm going to go create a program that's going to fit my needs, and then I'm going to see if anybody else wants it. Right? Was your overall concept was to be able, like, let's make this right, so then we can be able to use as another business model in your kind of your LLC or how you're doing it?
So I think for us, the thinking was we saw this huge need. I felt like every year I was on these light forums and I would post a picture of, one of my estimates. Someone would say, well, how are you doing this? And how are you doing that? And they'd say, oh my God, I love that. What are you using?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so it was just so many of those questions coming in. I knew that there was something there and there was this huge hole in the market for it. And so not only, did I know that we would use it for our own Christmas light business, but then I also felt really strongly that it would really benefit other installers as well. And it was a little bit of, we sensed that there would be a market, but it was definitely kind of a leap of faith. But I think that's how all businesses are. I feel like that is the number one thing that I ask people who are really successful and have done really cool things with their businesses is, what is one thing you would have changed or done differently? And they always say, I wish I would have started sooner.
Yeah.
And
we always want that time machine. Like, I wish I could do that all over and not go this path and fail miserably. And I want to go this path, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think someone invents that. I think we got something going on now. So.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And then so as your business grows and then you jump into this software, you're gonna get pulled a lot because this software. I'm sure you're getting a lot of questions from your clients that you already signed up with all the time. Because I know from how it goes that running a software, you can never have it right by everybody's eyes, But I think if you can get 80%, I'll take 80%. I don't know if that's how you feel, but everybody wants perfection, but I think this industry changes so much. And then there's so many needs, especially with more companies getting into the commercial market, and doing the big presentations. And now for those out there listening, if you don't go out and have a PowerPoint template or something to do presentations with, then you're behind the game. So step up your game and make sure you have a good template to use your big commercial projects and your higher end residential, because I feel like that's the name of the game. Because if we're talking about premier services that we're in, you got to show it.
Absolutely.
We know the how to, and we know how to make it look nice on the home, but you got to sell it on the front side.
Yeah, I mean, and the truth is that there's more and more Christmas light companies popping up every single year.
Yeah.
Clients are going to have more to choose from. Mm-hmm. And so I saw something the other day about someone had posted something on one of the forums about how, I just sold this and all I did was draw lines and I still won this particular estimate. And yeah, you're still going to win some. You're still going to win some, even if you go up to someone and say, well, imagine this, and you just kind of point. Yes, you can still win some. But the point is, what are the quality of those leads? Mm-hmm. What kind of clients are you wanting to bring in? And what percentage are you wanting to close? Are you going to win some? Yes. Could you win more? Absolutely. And I think that's really what we all want. And then, what you were saying before, Mike, about, software not being perfect or things coming up. Absolutely. That is the nature of software, right? Even big companies like Google, they're going to have their blips and little glitches or things like that come up once in a while. And so we've been gearing up to prepare for this Christmas light season. We've brought in a number of VAs and a number of staff so that they can really help and support in these things. And then as far as my other businesses go, I fortunately have an amazing partner, and he's really taking care of that portion of things, so I can really dedicate my time to Holiday Home Concepts.
That's important, because like you said, partnerships are hard for a lot of people, but obviously if you find the right person to work with, I'm in a partnership with my other company. You just got to do your part. You don't have to feel like you do everything as a full basket, because you got to split it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the only way to grow, I feel. So.
Yeah, and it helps that I'm married to my partner. So.
So then you have that conversation during the day, during the night, on the weekends, all the time.
Oh yeah, we joke that the businesses are our fourth kid. We already have 3
that's
kids.
A good one. I love that fourth kid. That's a good one. Yes. So I'm opposite. My wife has no desire to be in business with me at all. So I'm like, I'll figure it out this way. So.
Well, we've been really fortunate. We work really well together. We worked at other jobs in the past before we were business owners, and so we just have really complementary strengths and weaknesses. Mm-hmm.
So we can do this. Let's just jump right into your software. I really want to show everybody that's watching. I'm going to share the screen. I know you're not going to see anything, but just go through it and explain how you would if someone else was just signed up to do a demo with you.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So I just switched my screen. Can you see everything?
Yes, I can see everything fine. So it's recording properly.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So this is what our home screen looks like for Holiday Home Concepts. I love this software because not only are you rendering, but you're estimating at the same time. So I'll show you what that looks like. You can add a photo. So we'll just pick any photo here. I'll just use my sample photo I like to use. And the second thing that's going to come up is a box that talks about configurations. So those configurations are just picking a known length anywhere on your photo that's close to where your lights are going to be. So, not the background, not the foreground, but somewhere very close to your lights. So in this case, we put in the garage door width, and you can take the measurement block that appears and just simply stretch it to fit whatever that item is. And, the great thing is with today's technology, if you're not able to go in person to an estimate, you can still figure out online, Google Earth or something, what the length is from like this piece of gutter to this piece of gutter and throw that in there. That way you don't even have to necessarily be there to look at it, which I know is really tricky for a lot of people, especially when you have dozens of leads coming in per day. So the next thing we get to do is just simply start adding our lights, which is so cool. We have C7s and mini lights, C9, C7s and mini lights. We have a multicolor toggle, so you can pick more than one color. We have the spacing according to what you would normally buy from a vendor, so 12-inch, 15-inch, and so forth. And then we have lots of different ways to draw, and it is so easy to do. You can really, I would say, get this whole house done in just a couple of minutes, maybe even less. So we've already added on almost the entire roof line here. We'll add on our peaks right there.
You're just clicking on that. Is that how it is? Just to click on the mouse?
Yeah, I'm just clicking and holding it down and releasing where I want it to go.
Okay.
I don't even have to, I'm not, doing anything in the middle. I'm just clicking, holding it, and then releasing where I want it to be. And so it's very quickly adding our lights. And then as we're doing that, the really neat thing is that it's adding up how many lights we're using. So I can go to my reports at the top and click on my quick estimate. And I can see from that those C9s were multicolor. They were 15-inch spacing. And I've added 84 feet and 62 bulbs to that total length. And then we all have a custom calculator, so each user has one. It has whatever your multiplier is in there, and it multiplies it out for you so that you've got your price. It's one quick, easy step. So I'll show you what that custom calculator looks like. I'll click on my price.
I think this is the game changer right here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can click on any of the items we have in the software. And by the way, we are adding more and more things every single year. So we have a nice running list of things that people said, well, what about this? And what about that? So pretty soon there's going to be lots and lots to choose from. So for instance, a wreath, you have your standard sizes, you pick whatever that price is and you put it in. You don't even have to worry about stuff you're never going to use because, you're never going to use it.
Now, that price would, let's say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but would that price, if they were doing a lease price, that would be your lease price that you'd put in there, and then that calculator would automatically calculate that through? Or
it depends on your company. Yeah. So one of the things that I've come to notice, having done so many trainings now and worked with our beta testers and things like that, is that some companies lease and some don't.
Yeah, that's
so true. The leasing companies, absolutely put your lease price. That's the easiest thing to do. The companies that don't lease, they like to have a separate materials cost, and they'll just put in the material price. Now, the prices you see here, this is just a stock account. This is not the one I use for my particular company. So you're just seeing random numbers here for the most part. But you would put in whatever that price was for you. But yes, for leasing companies, you would put in, the cost to lease that wreath, what your all-in is.
So that's your sales price, right? That's what you're doing. That's cost, right? Okay.
Right. That would be correct. And then when you're done with all of that, you just hit update. So it's that quick. You can just switch your pricing out if needed mid-season. Maybe your vendors increased pricing, whatever it might be. And as you can see, it was really easy to start adding on lights pretty quickly. If we make mistakes, if we want to adjust things, we can just simply grab them. There's a little dot that appears above each item that allows you to toggle items so that you can move them or situate them however you like. You can also simply add on one bulb at a time too. Maybe you wanted just the white bulbs at the very peak or something of that sort. You can always click that one bulb and add it just where you want it to be. So great, easy way to do that. We also have lots of different decor. We have wreaths and ornaments. I'll show you what some of those look like. So I love our wreaths because just like everything else, it sizes out based on your initial measurement block. So when you're trying to figure out, hey, is a 48-inch wreath going to look good here? Or maybe A 60-inch, is that more appropriate? This is going to help you decide. So that's our 60-inch wreath. Obviously, we wouldn't put one on a garage or anything. You can see that that's exactly.
It won't open, so but yeah.
Yeah, it won't open. Yeah, but you can see that is the size, right? That's about the 60-inch wreath. You know, and I can also tell that that's going to be too big for that peak right there. Mm-hmm. So that really helps us to decide things really easily too. We also have beautiful bows to go with our beautiful wreaths. Mm-hmm. Lots of different sizes and varieties. So lots to choose from. I won't go through all of our decor, but a lot of it is just super useful and super easy to use. We have some great spotlights. These are one of
the spotlights was really good. You showed that to me. I thought that was really cool because, well, like I said, it's just a wall washer that can accent very easily to any project.
Right, exactly. So I even have landscape lighters who are like, I don't have anything to show the client, you know, what this is going to look like in the evening or at night. You know, can you do this as ground lights or something like that? And I say, absolutely. So I'll show you what that looks like really quick. You can just simply add those lights, and I'll bring down our contrast, which is a really cool feature. It makes the photo look like it's nighttime.
Oh, that pops right there. That's nice.
Right, exactly. And that way you can move those lights wherever you want to. So maybe, you know, you have landscape lights, you know, going across the front of the house or something, and you can rotate them any direction you want. And those lights can be really almost any size you want too. So we have really narrow ones, really wide ones, and they go up to a variety of heights. So if you want to do a larger, you know, red wash on a home, you could most certainly do that as well. We try to make it as flexible as possible for designing, and that way, you know, whether it be a commercial or residential, you've got those options. Mm-hmm. So lots of great stuff to choose from. Ornaments, RGB trees. Is there anything in particular in these decorations that you want me to show you, Mike?
No, so like on the Garland, I think we talked about this, and then there's two things I would, you know, like when you do patio lights, maybe show an example of that, and then the Garland, how you would put that on. Let's say you're doing a Garland around the garage door. You know, how would you do that? Okay.
Yeah. So the Garland works super easy. It works very similarly to the lights. Mm-hmm. What sets apart a piece of Garland is really the thickness, right? And that's what I always tell our subscribers.
You're missing one. You're missing the 14-inch, but you can go 18. That's good.
We'll do the 18-inch. The most popular requested sizes were 12, 18, 24, and 36. But you know what? For you, Mike, I'll have to add that 14.
You're going to have to add 14. I appreciate that.
But the nice thing is that it is designed for the professional installer in mind. Mm-hmm. So those sizes available are really kind of what you're working with.
Correct.
So the nice thing about the Garland is that it goes on just like the lights. You're just, you know, basically dragging and dropping it wherever you need it. Really easy, really fast. And, you know, again, everything can be moved. So if something's slightly crooked, you can just rotate it out. You can grab something and move it. And you can layer it with those same lights and ornaments that you would almost anything else.
That is pretty slick. So, and then I know you showed me before the patio lights, or like how you do like a bistro light. You were talking about like you're dotting it as a curve.
Yeah.
You want to show that to everybody here?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of different ways.
Or even mini lights, I guess, in the tree, I guess you want to talk about.
Sure. So there's a couple of different ways that we can kind of replicate bistro lighting. One of those would be to use our C9s and our point-to-point trace option. You would just simply, you know, generally bistro lights are a little bit further apart than Christmas lights are. Mm-hmm. So you can pick a further out spacing. And the nice thing about our point-to-point trace option is that you click and then release and click, and every time you click, lights are going to appear in between. So you can have that really swooped appearance of what you would get with bistro lighting. The other way that you could do it, if you wanted to, depending on how large that bistro lighting is let me grab this, is that you could take these spotlights in theory depending on how large they are, and turn them upside down, and then just add them that way, and just, have that look too. So lots that you can do with that. And then as far as our mini lights go, our mini lights work in a few different ways. I usually use single item per click with our mini lights, and it's just adding one item at a time, which is great for small items like, bushes and things of that nature. It doesn't take too long to add it up, and pretty soon the whole thing looks pretty full. But, let's say you have something a little bit bigger. I mean, I would say even bigger than this tree, because this tree is a very small tree.
Yeah, it's true.
But let's say you had, I don't know, a larger pillar or something like that. I'm going to bring up the lights a little bit so I can see the details of the house. You can use also our point-to-point trace option. So I'll show you how that works too. So if it's something a little bit wider, you can simply go back and forth with our point-to-point trace, which doesn't take too long to do because it's really just one click in between each layer. And then once we get toward the top, I'll just go partway here. You can start going up and down instead. And so once you start going up and down, then you're going to start seeing it blend in really well.
Yeah, fill it in. It might take a little bit of work there, but yeah, I can see where that would fill in like a wall of lights or something like that.
Right, exactly. So if you had like a big tree or something, this was about the same number of clicks as this was. So you can most certainly do that. Really easy to do. As you can see, I'm hitting my undo button. It's really easy to get that kind of stuff. You can also just stair step it all the way up, like the first few layers we did. If you wanted to have that gapped appearance, it just depends on kind of the look that you're going for. So really easy to work with. And then of course, as we've been adding everything, it has been adding into our quick estimate. Now the numbers I have in here for my custom calculator are just random stock numbers because again, my company uses a different account. But you can see we've added on our wreaths, our bows, the spotlight, whatever you have in there, it's quickly adding up. And rather than having that separate Excel sheet where you're then trying to figure out all your quantities.
How much your feet are. No, that's where I think that the estimating is such a game changer on what you're doing. So, because I think, first of all, you're getting your client the rendition that they need on their own home or building or whatever the project is. And then B, you're able to kind of, even if someone's been in the business for a while and they want to double check their numbers, if they can take your formulas and then make it work to their numbers, then why would you go outside that?
Oh, absolutely. And the great thing is that even if you have a more complicated roof line, you can still upload like a bird's eye view of that same home and do the same thing, but just from the rooftop.
Right.
And that way you're measuring, all those indentions in the house. Maybe the garage juts out or something, or maybe the door has a hull area that's really recessed where the roof jumps in more. And so you can really get a sense of, around how much light you're going to need. I would say 10% is a really safe number for, what I tell people to add an extra. That being said, though, I sat down with a client the other day and she said, Sarah, I want to put you to the test. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, I know how many lights I put on my house. And I want to see you do measurements using the photos of my house. And I want to see how accurate it is. I was sweating bullets a little bit. I was a little nervous because, I felt pretty good about our software already.
Right.
But it's always different when someone puts you on the spot. And so we pulled up a bird's eye view of her house and then the front face of her house, because she had not just a regular house. She has a very unique house. It has 3 different tiers at different levels. And so we did the bird's eye view. We did some front side measurements and we created a beautiful rendering for her. And I said, okay, well, how did we do? And she's like, well, you're going to be happy to hear this. I install 142 feet of light on my house and you measured 145. So we were super excited because that was,
that's great. Yeah,
it was great. It was great
on that. That's awesome. That is awesome.
So it definitely made my day and just kind of gave me that confidence. Like, yeah, of course, and I knew it would be, but you always get a little nervous when you're
I can
writing in the middle of
imagine.
something.
So, is there anything else in the software that we didn't cover? I know there's probably more training or people can get in there and have fun, but anything else you want to explain?
Yeah, absolutely. So the nice thing about the software is that you can get your data in a few different ways. So we already talked about that quick estimate and exporting your numbers. But, for that photo, you can simply export your photos, or you can save the project and come back to it later. So everything is cloud-based, which is really nice because when you save a project, that means the office already has access to it on their side, and that way you can come back and forth on it. So you can go to our Save Project As, put in that project name, the customer name, the address. You can go over to My Designs and then pull that all up, which is great, especially when you need to make changes or anything of that sort. We also have a project proposal that puts your numbers and your photos into Word for you. And then you can, of course, export that as a PDF. But that way you can throw in your own contract wording. You can attach it easily to your CRM and really make it work for your company.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So your website for them to find you is a Holiday Home Concepts?
It is. It's tryholidayhomeconcepts.com. So that is it right there. We also have a great little program called HHC Academy. And it's just a nice compilation of where to find all of our videos and how-tos.
Oh,
if you guys
good.
are interested in what that password was, it was just Academy with a capital A. You're free to come and look at it.
You got everything right there. So this is a good way so that anybody can just get signed up and then learn. If they have other questions. And I'm sure they can't get a hold of Sarah all the time because I'm sure you got a lot going on as well. So do you, I know there's some different concepts of pricing. You got annual, you got monthly, you got quarterly or something like that. That's on the website, right? Yeah.
Yes. So we do have 3 different options. We have our basic, which is $129 per month, and that is just a month-to-month price. That is a perfect package for companies that they're only maybe designing 2 or 3 months out of the year. They really don't touch it outside of that time, and that's it. And of course, people who just want to try it, see if it's going to work for them. Then we have the Pro option, which is $690, but averages out to $115 per month.
Right.
And that is great for companies that are, designing maybe, August to December time period. And that's all they need. Works great for them. And then we have Elite, which is for companies like mine. It's $1,080 for the year. It averages out to $90 per month. But having this year round it's been such a great thing for my
peace of mind because you always have the software there. You're going to be doing so no matter the monthly, you're going to be adding more things, and you're going to be finding that make it. Let's say we said earlier 80%. Now you're going to make it 90% perfect. So or however that number looks. I just think the yearly makes sense if you're in this business.
Oh, for sure. And I would say, 98% of the people in Christmas light business have a primary business. I mean, some do just Christmas lights, but those people are a very small number.
Right.
Most of them have a landscaping business or a window cleaning business or a pressure washing business, whatever it might be. You're already in front of your core market the rest of the year. And because of that, it is a great opportunity to talk to Mrs. Robinson down the street, while you're working on her windows and say, hey, well, I'm here. Can I offer you a free Christmas light estimate? And she hears that it's free. She'd love to know what the numbers would be.
Yeah.
She might be getting it in March, and she's like, sure. She already knows, likes, and trusts you, right?
It's what most consumers, or I hate to say consumers, but a lot of times they just don't know until you show them. Because I think as us as decorators in this industry, we are more pioneers of educating how they should be designing their homes, more so than the homeowner saying, I want this.
Yes. And that's the other part of it, I think, is I always tell people you need to design with functionality and feasibility in mind. So you know what your crews are capable of, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's going to need a lift? What are you going to need a harness for? Can you increase that package pricing and maybe not include a super high, steep upper ridge, but instead, hey, I've added ground lights. I added this tree down here. I've added these bushes, and you've made it equal out that same price, but you just brought down, that time work intensity by a lot simply by providing a different type of design. So if you're already in front of your clients already the rest of the year, offer them that Christmas light estimate. And that way, come close to that season, they've already been looking at it, they've been glancing at it, and I can guarantee you they're more likely to go with you than to go ahead and try to get another 2 or 3 estimates.
Well, especially if someone shows up with lines on an iPad and go, hey, this is your rendering compared to what you're providing through your software. Any consumer is going to go, well, this is a more professional company. Even if it's dollars or hundreds of dollars off, I bet you get the job anyway, just because of the professionalism coming across.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And, when you have luxury homes, they expect a certain standard. And
Right.
So if they know what they're getting, they are more likely to go with you, and they're more likely to pay for it. So I'll show you just, some of the things I've thrown together, because this was just a quick thing to show you all. It's what I show a lot of people. But, we really didn't spend any time on it. We've just mostly talked. Hopefully this will, there we go. I guess since we're screen sharing, it's a little slower, but this is an example of something.
Concepts. Yeah, no, this is good.
Right. So, it's fast, it's easy. We actually added in this garland that's inside the house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Tree, with all the ornaments and things. So, you can really give something a certain look.
Yeah, to me, that pops a lot. So that's good. So there's a lot of things that, as you run into different companies and how they run their operations, that's fine. If it works for them, it works for them. But I know that there has been a huge need on the software rendition side, but you add to another level and then help them with the estimating. And I think that's kind of the undertow of like the complete package of the software that you brought together.
Right. And more than that, you're also helping installers offer something to clients that they know what they're going to get. So sometimes you have a rendering and it doesn't really look like what the install is. Our software has really teased out sizing and bulbs and things like that to really give it that feel. Yeah, so you can see that the aboves are the renderings and below are the actual installations, and it's pretty darn close.
Yeah, that is nice. Like I said,
maybe I shouldn't have done that.
No, we're good. We're good. We should be back together now. So if that works for you. So
okay, yeah, that works great.
Yeah. So, well, Sarah, I tell you one thing. I love your enthusiasm, your ability to be a pioneer in this industry, and just to be able to kind of take that on as to create a software. It's not easy. I've done this before, and it's not easy, and it continues. As you continue to grow, I know that there'll be new avenues all day long on what you want to do with it. So, but
yeah, there's definitely some great 2.0 stuff coming your all's way, which we're really excited to roll out come February, March time. But Mike, you were so right on this. One of the things that people have told me over and over is like, oh yeah, I really love the HBL app, and I think it's something that.
Just didn't have the estimate. I mean, you just put it together. I think that's the best thing, because the one thing that with the trainings I've done over the years and everybody that I talked to, the one thing that they have to learn first, they have to have a visual concept of what the product can do. I get that part of it. And then they have that ability, like, how do you design a house? But third, you got to be able to do the estimate. And that, to me, I feel like sometimes that's where it gets missed, where, if we're trying to create a standard Mendoza line of numbers where industry standards, because anybody can try to be cheap on it, but I can tell you right now, they're going to be out of business in short period of time when they're not making money,
Oh, for sure. And, if you really can seriously charge more money simply by having a better design.
Yeah.
Because again, people know what they're going to be getting. And just it's the main thing I would say, and the big takeaway for me on Holiday Home Concepts is the time savings.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to do those calculations and rendering at the same time, then you've bought yourself back time. It's easy enough that your staff can use it too. I get people who ask me, well, why can't I just use Photoshop and Google and PowerPoint, and I can just put this all together myself?
Right.
My answer to them is, yeah, you can. You can figure it out. You can spend all that time on Photoshop.
Why recreate a wheel that it's already here? I mean, that's like
exactly. It's like you can have all these separate little wheels, and you can try to make a big wheel to try to make it work for yourself. But
you can put a bicycle
also you're the only one who can do
buy
it.
a bicycle that's already done, and we're going to jump on and ride it. We're not going to go create a bicycle.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. So, I always tell people, I'm not a salesperson by any means. I am a strong believer in good products should sell themselves. So I'm not, going to be calling people up after I get off the phone saying, are you going to buy? Are you going to buy? I am not that person. And it's going to be great for some people. And maybe for some people, it's not going to, be the perfect thing for them. But I think for most installers, this is what they have been looking for a long time.
Yeah, that's good. Well, and I agree with that, and I'm stamping it as you're on the right path. So, well, like I said, I think we can conclude here. Anybody out there that needs to get a hold of Sarah, you have an email out there on your website,
Yes.
right? There's a contact page, right? So go out to the website. It's you can find Sarah. Sarah will respond to you, and she'll say, get signed up. Got to get started somehow, right?
And feel free to reach out to me either on Facebook, by email. My email is sarah@holidayhomeconcepts.com. Super
Perfect.
easy. You can reach out to us on our website through our little chat box, and someone will be with you.
No, that's perfect. Well, Sarah, I appreciate coming on and showing us a little bit of what's going on in your world. I get kind of giddy and commend you a lot, and because for someone that's been in business starting their 8th year, I know this industry can be very overwhelming, and then going out and doing a software and trying to make their business better. That says a lot about you and your partner, your husband, to go out and do that. So I commend you very well. So
thank you. Hopefully he and I will enjoy a nice bottle of wine come January.
Yeah. Well, usually that's February, because you got to take all the product down on your business. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we always close down for a couple of days at New Year's, and then we start taking down on the 4th. So that's our little break.
That is good. That's good. Well, like I said, I'll get everything posted. I'll send that out to you. But thank you very much. And for those out there, get a hold of Sarah. She's got the right program.
Thank you, Mike.